So the early Sword of Aeons summon clip is one that I think most Fable 1 fans have probably seen a gajillion times over by now. And that's precisely what this video is going to be covering, only with a bit more technical details and advice on consistently achieving the clip. Before we get into that though, we need to talk about Assassin Rush and what exactly is going on with it. In response to an email from Fable speedrunning community member Blasted T in late 2016, T. Feng, the developer who coded most of the game's spells, had graciously shared some useful insight on Assassin Rush, specifically that it had at least two modes. The first mode is where you are standing still and use Assassin Rush. You will either go forward or towards an applicable targeted NPC. I refer to this mode as neutral, and Fable TLC and Fable Anniversary are both basically jammed in this mode as keyboard and mouse have no access to the other mode. This other mode has only shown to be accessible with the controller's left analog stick, and was thought to be limited to console and controller-based control schemes for Fable Anniversary, but I'll get into that later. I refer to this mode as directed. So what exactly does this have to do with the early Sword of Aeons summon clip? Well, it has to do with how the game versions each handle targeting where Assassin Rush is concerned. If you're struggling to achieve the clip with a neutral Assassin Rush, odds are higher that the game will just flat out refuse to teleport you behind your Wasp. Why this is, I'm not really sure, but what I did notice in my own Xbox speedruns was that I seem to have a much more consistent time with getting the clip when I started directing my Assassin Rushes towards the Wasp, rather than relying completely on the neutral mode. Eventually, this got me thinking about why panning the camera seemed to yield better consistency in my PC TLC speedruns. Then it clicked. You see, Fable TLC on PC has a completely different targeting system than the original Xbox versions and even Fable Anniversary, as it's based on the camera, where with the others, it's based on where the hero is physically facing as to what will be targeted. While Assassin Rush's directed mode allows you more control over where you're rushing to, if there is an applicable NPC in the spell's teleport path, it will attempt to place you behind it, even if you weren't specifically targeting it. While the Assassin Rush mode used in TLC is still very much neutral, the Wasp isn't being directly targeted by the player, similarly to how my directed Assassin Rushes on console were giving better results than the neutral ones were. So using PC TLC's camera-based targeting, you can unhighlight the Wasp for a better chance at rushing behind it, and on console, you can just nudge the left stick towards the Wasp and use a directed rush. What about Fable Anniversary though? Well, that version of the game has controller support, so you can plug in just about any compatible controller and do the clip that way. Or, you can be a little cheekier about it. On the 1st of March 2021, community member Wintilda had shared a recording of Fable TLC utilizing directed Assassin Rushes. As it turns out, the port infamous for having no native controller support actually did have a small degree of it. Unfortunately though, TLC is rather finicky about whether or not it will recognize a controller is plugged in and sending inputs, and hasn't been seen in any runs since. For Fable Anniversary, however, this discovery was revolutionary. The current top-level speedruns for Fable Anniversary on PC utilize multiple input methods, where keyboard and mouse are the control scheme of choice, but the runner also has a controller plugged in with a hair tie or rubber band, etc., holding the left stick ever so slightly forward, just enough to direct Assassin Rushes, but not enough to start moving up within the menus. Using this, runners' Assassin Rushes will always go in the direction the camera is facing, in this case, forward, making it so they can rush directly towards the Wasp, but not have the Wasp be the main target for Assassin Rush. Hopefully this video helps someone out with the Sword of Aeons clip and sheds some light on one of the game's greatest utility spells. I'm Clean Sarah, thanks for watching.